Folks, welcome back. Phantasmal Flames news is coming out, and it has the MSRP gang and the I'm Gonna Wait crowd literally coming apart at the seams. They are seething in anger at this point. And it's just comical to watch. You have people out there insulting Pokemon's business model. Like, you have guys in their basement with a $100 webcam, barely have 2 nickels to rub together, and they're insulting a multi-billion-dollar company's business model who has been in business for decades, probably longer than some of these people have been alive, but they know better than the Pokemon company. They think that printing something into the ground is the way to success. They think you should do what Bandai used to do with their old card games. They took very popular IPs, printed the absolute oblivion out of them, and then realized, oh wait, now nobody wants them because they're too widely available and they have no value, right? Guys, here's the thing. Contrary to what you might be told on the internet, okay, I'm gonna give it to you straight. Collectors are what continue to carry the hobby. It is not game players. Everyone thinks like, oh, it's all about the game players. It's a portion of it. Without collectors, the hobby would die. And collectors want a few things. Contrary to what you might hear, they want their collectibles to be collectible. They want to own things that not everyone else can own. And a lot of collectors, they do actually want their collectibles to have value, to hold value, and some, dare I say, even grow in value over time as they become older and scarcer. And that's what a lot of people just fail to understand. And they think Pokemon is leaving money on the table by not printing their collectibles into oblivion, making them so widely available that they have no value, in turn making nobody want them from a collector standpoint. And then all you have is the game players, and that's not enough to carry the hobby. And so they're saying, well, then how can Pokemon make more money and capitalize? They are. Let me explain business to you, okay? First, they already raised MSRP when Scarlet Violet era started, so they're already making more money on the products. 2, they sell far more items now because of the demand on Pokemon Center, on Pokemon vending machines, so they're capturing more of the profits and not sending it out to distributors and big box stores. Now, they're still sending more to big box stores and distributors now, but they're capturing more themselves, selling it firsthand. Okay, that's another way. Third way, they are expanding into more countries. More and more countries are carrying the product. They're printing in more and more languages, so they're expanding wider instead of just printing massive amounts of the few popular languages. So they're taking multiple different steps to increase the revenues of the company, to increase the profit margins of the company without destroying the underlying collectible that is driving their success. I know this is a hard topic to discuss because everybody just wants to open packs cheap. They just want to own cards cheap. At the end of the day, you think you want that, but you only want it to an extent. And we could argue, yeah, you want it to get to MSRP. You think that's fair. That's fine. Last time, we were at MSRP, people thought it was too expensive and it should be cheaper when Surging Sparks was at MSRP at release because everyone was used to $100 boxes. I honestly think no matter what price point the products are at, people are going to find something to complain about, but that's neither here nor there. The issue is, if things get too widely available, too accessible, too cheap, the demand falls for them because no one wants to chase them anymore. When the demand falls, store shelves no longer sell out, right? Distributors can no longer push all the product onto the stores because the stores can no longer sell the product. Then Pokemon calls the distributors and says, hey, we need to send more product. They say, we can't take any more product. We can't move the product that we have. And it becomes a big supply chain glut because no product's moving anymore because nobody freaking wants it. So prices go lower, 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 and lower until they're at rock bottom when nobody's making money. Stores aren't making money. Distributors aren't making money. Pokemon's not making money because they're not moving as much product as before. And so no one thinks about this. They just think about me, 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 me. They're not thinking about the overall picture. Yes, I understand there needs to be some sort of equilibrium, but finding that equilibrium is not as simple as, let's just buy 1 million printing facilities, print billions of cards, and let's just make it to where it goes to the ground. Okay, yeah, kill your entire business. Would you rather have a business that sells out immediately or a business that doesn't sell at all? And you can say, well, Alex, ideally, somewhere in the middle. Ideally. But if you had to pick one or the other, they're going to pick right now compared to what it was like 3 years ago when nothing was moving very fast at all. I mean, you can get a distributor account. You can call up your distributor and say, hey, send me 2 cases of whatever set. They say, no problem, we got it in stock. And sales reps weren't happy back then because they were having to, scratch, fight, and claw to sell their products at distro, having to make deals with store owners. What if we give you a pallet at 85 a box? How about 80 a box? Will you take it at 75 a box? All right, fine, I'll take it. They're making less commission. Distributors making less money. Stores are still barely able to sell. They're having to sit on it because people won't even buy boxes back then at $80 or $90. People they forget that so quickly. Which brings us to the current state of the hobby. Phantasmal Flames. I don't know if it's short printing, guys. I'm not going to sit here and freak you out. I don't know. Some people are saying it is. Some people are saying it's not. I have some firsthand knowledge. It seems like this first wave is going to be slightly less than Mega Evolutions. I don't think it's a great deal less to where it's going to make some huge issue. I think the internet pandemonium of everyone saying short printed is probably causing more of a panic than the actual numbers would. I know some of the people that I heard numbers from, they got like 2-3% less than they got of Mega Evolution. So yeah, it's less. People are getting less. That is a real thing, but so much less that it's going to make a massive difference. I don't think so. I think the rumors online and the pandemonium that's creating is probably going to do more damage than people just releasing their actual numbers would. But hey, what do I know? So, how am I going to play this whole thing? I'm not going to buy into it. I won't be paying $400 for a booster box. I will join the I'm going to wait crowd in that sense. And it's not because I think, they're going to print it into oblivion, the market's going to crash or anything. But I do believe once more and more information comes out and people understand that the numbers are slightly lower, but it's not crazy, I think they'll probably, be somewhere around the Mega Evolution prices, if not maybe a little lower, a little higher, whatever it may be. I don't think this box is going to run to $500 or anything. I do believe that the Charizard is the absolute, unequivocally best card ever printed with the Charizard art on it. I 100% agree with that, but it's such a small set. There's so few SIRs. I think it's going to be easy to hit. I honestly think this will be one of those sets that is probably opened at release more than any other set in the history of Pokemon, including Prismatic, including 151, including Destined Rivals, including Mega. But I also think it's probably going to slow down in opening quicker than most all those other sets I just mentioned, because people are going to pull the card much quicker than they did any of the other ones that I mentioned. Now, the Gold Charizard, depending on what the hit rates of that are like, if they're similar to Mega, that could honestly keep the opening extended quite a bit, because if those hit rates are the same, that's going to be crazy to try to find a 1 in 1,200 pack card. So that may become a massive chase. But if the SIR rates are the same, 1 out of 100 packs or whatever, and you can, if there's 2 per case, you're going to pull every SIR out of 3 cases or so. I honestly think it'll probably quell the demand pretty quickly. And then when the second wave gets there on Phantasmal, it'll likely kind of correct the prices and keep them somewhat stable. Now, does this mean they're going to MSRP? Hell no, right? But does this mean they're going to $500, $400 a box? I don't think that's the case either. I honestly think we're going to see a lot of these boxes kind of stabilize somewhere in that $250 to $325 range, if I had to guess, just because that's where every other box is. It's not going to go lower than SV base at $250, in my opinion. And it's probably not going to go up to Paldea Destined Rivals levels at $400 plus. It'll probably be somewhere in the middle. That's my stance. It's not a hot take at all. I think most people probably agree with that. Some people might be on the Phantasmal bandwagon. They might be buying into this, short print a little too heavy, and they might think it's going to go to the absolute moon. And maybe some of that, some of the rumors and some of the, madness carries it to the moon. I don't know. I mean, there is definitely no, there is no level to what the social media kind of machine can push a product at this point. We've seen it happen with single cards. We've seen it happen with other buyouts and things. And so I'm definitely not ruling out the fact that it could send it to the moon. But as far as the numbers that I have seen and that I have heard, I will say we're getting less Phantasmal Flames than we did Mega Evolutions and previous sets. That is a fact. That is a fact. It's a minor, small few percentage points lower. 2-3% less boxes than we got before. So I wouldn't let it freak you out too much. But understand, guys, all these people that are just pissed off all the time and think they know how to do business. I can't even say it without laughing. Better than a multi-billion-dollar, multi-decade-old company with many executives who have successfully built the largest IP, the largest media franchise on earth. And people on YouTube with a few subscribers think they know how to run business better. Be very careful of listening to those channels. It's probably not going to end up very well for you. So that's my take on the Phantasmal Flame situation. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day, and subscribe to the channel if you're not yet. I'm out.